Sanjeev, many congratulations. Firstly, tell me, what was the reason to bring Civil War to India?
You know, our division, PVR INOX Pictures, an acquisition and distribution division that's been running actually for the last 22 years now, as old as the cinema division. We've been sort of like visiting the markets in LA, Berlin, Toronto for the last 20 years. And the endeavor of this division has always been to go to independent filmmakers and studios and acquire and bring to India small films, smaller films, niche films, but good content films, which aren't made by the studios. And we've done that for the last 20 years, and we've got some, I would feel, some incredible films to India and screen them for the audiences over here. And we've been working with this very progressive independent studio, A24, for years now, and who are actually responsible for hits like Everything Everywhere All at Once, Past Lives, which came out last year, The Whale, and then came Civil War, and we met them in AFM last year, and we were discussing this project, and I thought it was incredible. It was Alex Garland. It was a film about a democracy breaking up, which kind of is a fear around the world right now.
Absolutely.
You know, with what's going on in the political environment. Plus, juxtaposed with these fearless journalists who are actually traveling all the way to Washington to bring the truth to the audiences. So we acquired the film in LA, and then I finally saw it in Berlin, and I thought it was just incredible, and it was something that was creating a lot of buzz in the international markets, in the film festivals, and it's something that we had to bring to India.
You know, it's funny, because over the past few years, I've seen that you have been hosting a lot of films like these, because I think also somewhere the viewer is no longer, as during the Oscar speech, when, you know, the Parasite director said, we've jumped that 1 inch, the subtitle inch, we've jumped over it. So whether it was a Past Lives, whether it's this, we are no longer bound by language, where it's from. Are you seeing that as well?
Yes, absolutely. And I think we look at, even in the same vein, Zone of Interest and Anatomy of a Fall this year. And they were also incredible films. Even Zone of Interest is by A24. And I think that has is because the audience has really evolved. The way you said that they have jumped, I think, in terms of their acceptance for different language films, different genres. We've actually jumped in the last couple of years. And the audience is also connected, be it through social media or news channels or other forms of media. They know exactly what's going on in other parts of the world as far as cinema is concerned. You have the Cannes Film Festival obviously being shown and being viewed at our living rooms and on our phones all the time. We know exactly what's going on. We know who won the Palme d'Or. We know who won the Berlin Festival Award. And these kind of films that actually win all the awards all over the world, they whet the appetite. People want to watch them. And in our business also, on our social media, we do something like social listening. And we do that very carefully, because we do get comments from audiences across the country. And when they do hear about a Civil War or a Suzume or any kind of these kind of films, they write to us if they want to watch them.
Because I remember during Mummy, Anatomy of a Fall, they had 2 shows and they were full. Civil War, I'm hearing that you opened your theaters not only here as well as, you know, in Priya, because people want to watch it. So, I mean, you've become, I would say, that bridge, that because earlier these films were like so-called the film festival films. But here now the viewer wants to watch it. It's not your usual blockbuster and your larger-than-life heroes. So where do you see this going forward?
I think only bigger and better. Bigger and better, I think, because I feel that we've reached that point where the audiences is very evolved and they want to watch these movies, they're accepting these films, they know about these films. And I think timing is very important to get these films at the right time. Civil War is actually releasing in the US next week on the 12th. We're bringing it here on the 19th. It's also an IMAX film, and from our stable to actually release an IMAX film is a big thing. And we've got a great lineup of films this year as well from our stable of PVR INOX Pictures. And I think it's the acceptability and the box office potential for these films will only grow.
Absolutely. And also you're collaborating with Barkha, who's my former colleague and who's actually maybe it's actually been part of this fabric that he's talking about. You know, she was one of those people who, for the past 30 years, has been, whether it was the Kargil War, whether it was the murder in Nepal, whether, you know, she's been there. So what was the reason to bring Barkha on?
The same reason as you said, because I think, as I said earlier, there are so many genres that get made. And I was just so happy that there is a film that's actually being made about journalists. And I think to cover their lives and what they go through, the hardships, the tribulations, you know, to actually bring us a story and the truth. It's so heartening to see a genre like that come out after a very long time. I don't see that actually. And when this film came out, I reached out to Barkha, who's also my batchmate. Same class of 89, yeah, same school, and we reached out to her. I said, listen, please, this is a film that you would love, and I think this is a film that you would love to support and co-host with us, and she readily agreed, and we're very happy.
That's awesome. And also any recent past successes, as you did mention, you know, whether it was Past Lives, I remember everybody was just waiting for it to release. Even this Korean film called Child, you know, that you all released, because you don't get to watch these movies otherwise. Or critically acclaimed international films that you have seen that have really left a mark on the Indian audiences, that you yourself was a little surprised, like, oh my God, I didn't expect this.
I think most of them actually have done very well. I mean, this year, if you talk about the 3 films that were nominated for the Oscar, which is Zone of Interest, Anatomy of a Fall, Past Lives, we all knew there was something in it, and we all knew that they were not represented by the studios. They're independent films, and we really pushed hard for them to actually make a presence in India. And we're very happy that the box office and acceptance of these films, smaller films, is slowly growing. And we'll just continue to bring these kind of films to India.
And it's kind of, I think it's new, because, you know, independent filmmakers, we always say OTT, but now it's, I think, a boon for them to get a theatrical release, that they, you know, instead of dumping their movies on streaming platforms. So do you think that's only going to, like, it's changing, the wave is turning, as I would say?
I think so, I think the water will find its own level. I think there was a time, and rightfully so, because we were shut for 2 years during the pandemic, and there was no other option for the producers. They also had financial burdens, you know, to release the films, and they had only streamers to go to. But I think water will find its own level now, and I think people are back at the theatres. The producers are happy to release their films at the theatres, because the kind of publicity, the numbers, the glory that you get from a theatrical release. Otherwise, you can't go out and claim it's a 500 crore film. Or the way Crew is now advertising, it's a 100 crore film already, you know, which is great for a film which is led by 3 female protagonists and made by a female producer, 2 female producers. So I think these are the headlines that can only come out when you get a big theatrical release.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and enjoy the film.